Hello everyone, and it's Sunday again. So, by the last couple of Sundays, we've been hosting a Show Up, Speak Up interview series. So, over the last couple of weeks, I've had a whole heap of different experts come on, and we're talking about lots and lots of different topics and lots of different fields. And today we're back and we've got an amazing woman called Donna, and we're going to be talking about something completely different. This is completely out of my realm, completely out of anything that I've covered before, so I'm really excited. So Donna's from the UK, and what she's trained in so many different things. She's practiced as an energy psychologist, clinical hypnotherapist, Reiki and meditation, and a spirit release therapist, amongst many other things, for the last 5 years or so, I think she said. So we're really lucky to have her to talk about something that is completely different to the norm, completely outside, traditional approaches to healing and working on ourselves and personal development. So I will welcome Donna. If we just give me a second, see if this works. So any questions you have for us, please fire away as we go. Hello.
Hi, Anna. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Really good, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
No, I'm so excited. Like I said just then, it's something that's completely different. So I'm really excited to kind of find out more about what you do. So thank you for being here, sparing your time.
It's a pleasure, my love. It's a pleasure. I think we share an interest in subconscious programming, though. So, it's not too dissimilar to what I do. But yeah, so you introduced me beautifully. I'm an energy psychologist, which means
I didn't know what to say because you've done so much. So I just just mentioned everything, and if you could share what you do, your story, just to kind of give a bit of an idea about who you are, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. So, I use a whole different blend of energy psychology tools because I feel like one approach can only reach a certain goal, if you like. So, I started my journey to wellness really began with myself, as you'll be aware of. But for me, I was making lots of unhealthy, unnourishing choices for myself. And I just kept going back to same old unnourishing patterns. And it was like hitting my head against brick wall. I couldn't understand why I was making these choices. Even though on a conscious level, I knew they weren't good, but these patterns kept appearing in my life. So basically, I was behaving like a rock star without the credentials. I was not doing or making best choices for myself. So after doing many different therapies, I kind of found what worked for me. And I started with the traditional approach. And then I, trained in Reiki, like you said, hypnotherapy, and found more energy psychology tools like matrix reimprinting, EFT, and more the spiritual side of things. Because for me, they're intrinsically connected anyway. So it was through my own personal journey of finding how the belief system impacts our life, our choices, our feelings, and just about every thought we have. And that faulty pattern in early childhood, which is formulated in those 0 to 7 years, that started to change my way of looking at myself, but also my light bulb moment to going, okay, well, this is how we change and alter how we behave in the world. So it is with a blend of those techniques that I use. And I think it's really important, when I work with people, that I work from a place of experience and empathy, and I hold them in my heart, and for me, that helps access a place of healing that goes deeper perhaps than, more surface level stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely. And I think that's where we're quite similar in that both our journeys, like for me, I've tried all the traditional, like talking, conscious therapies, which did provide some help,
Absolutely.
But it only got me so far, and there was something holding me back from, being able to overcome and food problems. Really, like that last 20-30% to being fully recovered. And it went much deeper. And
Yeah.
like I said, it goes way back into the past, way back into childhood. And there's some real deep rooted issues that stored and often, because I didn't feel like I had anything significant that happened to me. But
Yeah.
what it was like something that then just built and developed over time, like drip effect. So I can completely relate to the same.
Yeah, and I often work with people who are really similar, nothing massive, no big, huge traumas in their childhood. But a trauma is the perception of the child at the time. So it may be a really big deal for that person, or that child. Like I said, even in the womb, we are formulating our belief system. So how we come into the world, our birth, how we were nurtured in those first years, how our environment was, and everything is informing us all that time. So say you had a traumatic birth, you might not feel safe to be in the world, or a critical parenting, I'm not good enough, or not feeling lovable. For me, it was just a very common story that my parents separated when I was 3 years old. And in this instant, everything was like, I'm not good enough. It's my fault. And all these beliefs were created. And when it's a core belief, that's really difficult to shift unless you go in through the subconscious and really heal that child. So it doesn't need to be a big story that needs to be discussed over and over. It's kind of going in, giving that child what they needed back then, but healing them on an energetic level at the same time.
Yeah, I completely understand that, and it's so powerful, isn't it? And is that
Yeah.
what the matrix reprinting is? Is that what
Yeah.
that does? Or
Have you had any experience of working in the matrix at all?
no.
Right. So, I use it as a technique to go in. For me, it's the quickest and fastest because what I'm looking for in someone is following an emotion or a feeling that's presenting. And, because of lockdown and everything that's going on right now, what people are experiencing is not only the sense of not having control and the uncertainty, which is creating anxiety, but
Yeah.
also they're not distracted as much. They're not busy. So sometimes these uncomfortable feelings can kind of come up. And this is, your subconscious bringing up, feelings to be addressed. It's kind of like, I look at it as like the body's a messenger. Okay, what is that feeling I'm feeling? Is it a rational feeling on response to what is going on in the here and now? Or have I felt this feeling before? Is it a familiar feeling? And the question I would ask to many of my clients is, how old do I feel right now? Because if it's a feeling that I feel really small, I feel really helpless, then it could be a belief that was created when you were a child. So to go in, I would follow the feeling, trust your body, listen to your body, what it's trying to tell you. And I use the tapping technique. Are you aware of EFT? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that will take you in, and then you connect with the feeling. And then it kind of, a little bit like hypnosis, but we're working on a way of going back. It kind of takes you to the initial sensory event that created the belief. And that's when we're putting it into ourselves energetically in all dimensions of ourselves. So, what the story we're broadcasting about ourselves is changed and resolved. And that's where the magic happens. That's where you have these massive, powerful shifts, and you feel really empowered, would be the word. So, it's not like this huge emotional revisiting of the story that re traumatizes. It's actually an empowerment and a transformational kind of place to experience, and then you come out feeling wildly different. It's really magical.
Yeah, I love how you explain it. And I think, therapy and these types of things, they do have some stigma attached to them where it's hard and it takes a long time, and a lot of people say they come out and they feel more weighed down than ever before, but the way you described this type of approach feels completely different.
Yeah, I think I always try to find a way of getting someone to access a resolve, a point that's a shift. And sometimes that can be immediate in one session, and sometimes that can take a little longer. but we're always looking, we can be a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time, right? It's a journey, but I'm always looking for a shift in a
Mm.
feeling. And I'm looking for resistance. If there is something there, then we have to look at that and work with that. But absolutely, it's empowering. Like, I work with children a lot, and we're going on an adventure. We're going to look like explorers to find these feelings and where they come from. And, they're amazing at it because they are very much more in their subconscious mind and their creative mind anyway. But it's just, it's kind of a fun journey and it's an empowering journey. So, yeah, I mean, it's very different from wallowing in your negative emotions. It's shifting and resolving them, and having a sense of control can be really powerful.
Yeah, and it kind of shows the person, the individual, that they have all the resources they need. It's within them. They have the power.
Yeah, you're just facilitating. You're just holding them in a safe space and guiding them to exactly what their body needs. All the answers lie within you. And it's just feeling safe enough to find those answers sometimes. Yeah, I think that's really powerful.
And how does the spirit release type stuff come to that? 'Cause that was something I was really interested in finding out more about.
It's funny because I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm this, I do it like this. And then I'm like, all this magic was happening. I'm like, okay, you cannot deny or, ignore this. So I work with everybody to an individual level. Some people go, whoa, that sounds way out there. And to some people, it just comes really naturally. So what happens is we just check your energies, if everything you're holding on to is yours, what you're connected to, if you've been exposed to any trauma or anything else in your life, you're really open to picking up other energies. So I work in a multi-dimensional way, and sometimes it feels right to explore the more spiritual side of things. So, I mean, energy psychology is very much about that, but also, I mean, we're all energy, so it's looking at balancing and shifting whatever does not serve you, what is not for your highest and most loving good. And for some people, that's instant, and we have these moments of magic. And then others, it takes like an onion peeling away layers and layers and layers, and then we work on a more soul level and a more spiritual level. And yeah, it's really powerful and very magical, and I cannot deny what happens in the clinic sometimes. So I bring in all dimensions now. I'm less, rigid, I suppose, about my approach.
Yeah, I think that's really really important because everyone's different, aren't they? Everyone has a different way of thinking, a different brain, way of seeing the world. And from personal professional experience, maybe it's not one approach that's gonna give you the whole 100%. That's kind of quite a big pressure, isn't it? To feel that one thing is gonna be the thing that like fixes me. And that's it's quite a lot of that. People have this attitude, so I need to go to see this person and they're going to be the ones for my life. But often, like you need different things, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to want that to work as well. But if we look at, it depends. If we're working a metaphor, the subconscious loves metaphor. So even if we're working with a creative person that loves metaphor and they're creating what is most nourishing and most healing for them, that's great. If it is a genuine connection to something that is bigger than them, that's great. If it's a soul level, if it's an archetype, whatever, angels, guides, whatever it is the realm you want to work in, we can adapt and work in that way. And it is only limited by, your imagination, and your willingness to explore these places. And I think to a certain degree, Hannah, to be honest, it takes courage to do this work. You really have to face it and go, okay, I'm going to look at myself really hard here. I'm not going to be hard on myself. I'm just going to explore it. So it's like, there's so much fear at the moment, isn't there? And we need to look beyond fear to say, where is this coming from? When we go into fear, that takes us into stress response. The worst thing for our immune system and supporting ourselves. So, you know, we need to come back to this place of love and compassion and gratefulness. And I mean, my daily practice with that is meditation, a simple meditation. You know, I don't have to be sitting in silence for hours. It's just what works for me. And I think that helps eradicate the fear and have the courage to look at yourself really hard and with an honest view, just to honor how you're feeling, you know.
Yeah.
That's really important right now for me.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful, because I think we're kind of taught in our society to want to just get rid of feelings, put them away, or look for quick fixes, you know, looking at ourselves for the solution. And like you said, it takes a hell of a lot of courage and bravery to think, I'm going to go deeper than this and actually look and address all those layers, rather than thinking, okay, I'm going to go and try this next quick fix or this next miracle promising solution.
Exactly.
That's the real courage, isn't it?
It is, and it's exactly like you say, the answers lie within you. So taking the courage to just look at yourself, to sit with what you're feeling, to understand what that feeling is, and then to find and follow that feeling, you know, and where it comes from is a solution to kind of resolving any sort of negative patterns of behavior that, you know, might be keeping you from living your life to your complete fulfillment and happiness ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone deserves that, don't they?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm most passionate about just keeping or helping people access that version of themselves, the best versions of themselves they can be. And really, it's become my purpose because of my own journey, because it feels so important to me that, you know, anyone can tune into this, anyone can shift and alter their thought patterns and how they see and view the world and themselves ultimately.
Yeah, you can really fix that for you. It's so evident.
Oh, thank you. It is my passion. I feel like, you know, when you've been through stuff, and maybe you feel like this too, when you've been through stuff, you feel like there's got to be a purpose to it somehow, how you can become good in the world with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
My
mean,
wife
like,
said that, you know, that's all for something, wasn't it? It was meant to be.
yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
And right now, are you coming across people, individuals with certain problems? Obviously, given this, is there anything that you're seeing right now that people are particularly struggling with?
I think obviously with lockdown, the connection, you know, we as human beings need to be connected and it's a basic human need. So having that taken away can bring up so much fear, you know, uncertainty. The subconscious does not like uncertainty of any kind. So without that, you know, in place, change, you know, anybody who's got any underlying, and this is what I was talking about with saying, well, can we look at it as a, is this a rational response to what's going on in the world right now, or is it a deeper issue? And I think if you've got, you know, emotions of fear or anxiety at any level, then yeah, it's bubbling up a lot for people right now. So it's just bringing them back to that centered kind of stable place of being and helping them access what they need in other ways, you know, through the mind, through meditation, through EFT or the matrix. So I've been doing a lot of online sessions for people with anxiety. And, you know, every time it goes back to something beyond the here and now.
Yeah.
You know, really. And looking at that root cause is the key to eradicate it really altogether. So it's an opportunity. I'm kind of saying to people, you know, this is a perfect opportunity to work on yourself. You know, like we go into our own inner sanctuary, everything's been shut down around us, and you know, all these feelings and emotions are coming up. This is the perfect time to work on you and make you a priority, your self-care priority, and really you know, look and understand yourself. I think time to do that is a wonderful gift at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah, it's looking at this, might be stirring something up, but maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that was something that needed to happen, come up to highlight that maybe what you're doing, or, you know, the life that you're living isn't necessarily the best one. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
And what will nourish me, what is good for me, just going back to self-care and nourishment and using tools and ways to kind of look after yourself in this time, because there's a lot of coping strategies. I am seeing a lot of people turning to food or alcohol or whatever to just kind of dull those emotions. And if you can just kind of sit with it and understand where it's coming from, I mean, obviously I'd recommend seeing someone to support you through that, but yeah, there's a lot of uncomfortable emotions bubbling up, but to me, the body's a messenger. That's a gift.
Yeah.
Look at it and understand it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's just a signal, isn't it? Signal for something that needs to be looked at.
What's the voice of it? What's it telling you about yourself? Is that valid? Is that true?
And is there anything else that you would suggest, like for someone who's struggling right now, or finding this really hard time? Anything else you could suggest to help them?
I think obviously it depends on what's going on. I think finding rituals throughout your day to kind of nourish yourself and setting, people who haven't got structure are really struggling if you've had structure in your life and a purpose without purpose. So trying to find little goals throughout the day, whether that's a breathing technique in the morning when you get up, whether that's making yourself a beautiful, nourishing lunch, whether that's taking a walk in nature and being grounded and centered. Being in nature gives you some sense of safety. And wherever, even if you've got a tiny patch of grass, just standing barefoot on that and just really centering and grounding yourself. I mean, for me, meditation and EFT is, if you find if you've got a very busy, analytical mind, it just takes you down into a more centered, kind of balanced way of being and feeling. I would really recommend some tapping. I think if you don't have anything up, I've got something on my Instagram with a little tapping video.
Yeah,
Just to just what it does is it disables the amygdala, so the fight or flight response. So when we go into fight flight, we're in our survival brain, and so that just takes you out of your survival, out of fear, and into love, into a more centered way of being. So for me, that's the quickest, most powerful tool there is.
Yeah, like you said, it's all grounding. It's all bringing you back to the present. I think you described, isn't it? Because we tend to go straight out to future mode, panic, worry, fear. It's actually a case of spending that time and bringing yourself back now through whatever works best.
Yeah, enjoy the slowing down process. Enjoying being more mindful about things and letting go of stress. Let go of stress. Back to love.
Yeah. And right now, is there anything that you're offering people, or any support, or like where can we best find you if anyone's out?
So we're doing I'm running these wonderful retreats with my friend Gemma McGuigan, who's a naturopathic nutritionist. We do mind body reset retreats. We've got one coming up on the 10th of June. It's I don't know what time it will be with you there. It's at 7 o'clock our time in the evening. So what would that be with you? That would be kind of like
With morning is better. Oh, I think that would be maybe that 1 a.m. thing.
Yeah. So
for other parts of the world, it's fine.
Exactly, just with you. But it's so we're doing a mind body reset online retreat to optimize your health and your immune system, so keep you out of stress basically. So I do lots of meditations and tapping techniques. We run them all the time, so there'll be loads more coming up as well. I'm also doing my one-to-ones via Zoom and everything else. And yeah, that's our plan for the future, to just keep doing what we're doing and maybe getting some more retreats out there. So you never know, we might come over your way sometime and maybe share some of that with you. It'd be good to hook up.
100%. Yeah, I love you. I love how passionately you talk and really explain everything. So yeah, I would definitely.
I hope I make sense.
And yeah, like I said, I'll share all your links and where to find you on your social media. And obviously, if you send me the retreats, I can share with people. That would be awesome as well.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you for your interest as well. And, keep doing what you're doing, because it's so important.
Yeah, likewise. I appreciate you the time on here, offering a different perspective than the norm, which I love. I love different and points of difference. So thank you so much. And yeah, we'll definitely stay connected.
Excellent. Lovely to see you, my lovely. Take care.
Thanks for listening, guys. See you soon.
Bye, honey. Bye.
Bye.